We are back, and I want to welcome everyone to my review. And of course, my second review in honor of Rutger Hauer, which I reviewed yesterday. I reviewed Blade Runner. Today, I'm gonna talk about The Hitcher. Came out 1986. Was a film that was released on February 21 in the US, 1986, and it's a classic. It's considered being an action film. It's also been considered in a horror section and also been a thriller. And I would say it's definitely a road thriller and one of the best classic movies, one of my personal favorite movies of all time, and of course my third favorite Rutger Hauer film. And the terror stops the moment you stop for the Hitcher. That's in the trailer. The terror stops the moment he stops. That's on the poster. Never pick up a stranger. And I love that, love the tagline. And I'm just gonna show you the DVD. Yeah, you're wondering what the hell, why it's not the Hitcher. It's actually from Slovenia. This is the Slovenian DVD. Yeah, I'm from Slovenia. If you're wondering why the fuck is in Slovenia, well, here's the thing. I couldn't find the DVD, the Hitcher anywhere. Sadly, this movie was not released on Blu-ray. It was released on a book. I think was DVD plus Blu-ray in Germany. But honestly, it is so goddamn expensive. That movie is so expensive. That book is so expensive. I'm not paying 85 euros for that movie. I'm not paying it that much. This DVD cost me €1. Yes, that's barely even $1. It's €1 cost me. By the way, except this one you can ignore. But yeah, it is the Hitcher. It cost me €1 plus the shipment. I only paid €3, so it was €4. It wasn't that expensive, so that's one of the reasons I actually got the DVD. The DVD works perfectly. There's no scratches. It's fine. As you can see, it's perfectly the Hitcher, but it's perfectly work fine. And I finally got it. That movie 3 years ago. I bought it in August. I got it for my collection. Definitely one of my favorite Rutger Hauer films of all time. C. Thomas Howell himself, the hero of this film, he considered this one of his personal favorite movies that he did. Directed by Robert Harmon. Directed was by Robert Harmon, and of course written was by Eric Red. Yeah, Robert Harmon, and of course stars Rutger Hauer, C. Thomas Howell, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. Yeah, it's the actress. And like I said, The Hitcher is one of my personal favorite movies of all time. It's definitely the movie that I love to death. I really love Rutger Hauer. Rutger Hauer's best film is phenomenal. It's philosophical. I don't know how that word's pronounced. It has a philosophy, so it's so awesome. I mean, it's definitely the best film. Written by Eric Red, and the inspiration for the Hitcher was actually from Eric Red. He was actually from the Doors song Riders on the Storm, about the killer on the road in a storm. He wrote The Hitcher, and in 1983, the year I was born, he sent letters to Hollywood producers until they finally were interested in making this movie. But this movie was like budget only budget $6 million, but made only $5 million worldwide. In opening weekend in US and Canada was $2 million, which is too bad, but they don't make them like this anymore. I just read it that Robert Siskel gave this movie a 0 stars. Fuck. Not Robert Siskel, Roger Ebert, the movie critic that passed away, he gave this movie a 0. I Are you fucking kidding me? How can you give this movie a 0 stars? It's the best one. To me, the best one, you know. Yeah, there was also spoofed the sequel and the remake, and fuck the sequel, fuck the remake. Because in the sequel, C. Thomas Howell returns. It's titled The Hitcher 2. I've been waiting. I don't know what the fuck was he waiting. And C. Thomas Howell returns, and he's like only 30 minutes in the film and gets killed on a shitty way. You know, why return with my favorite character doesn't do jack shit in the movie, gets killed. That makes no sense. It was stupid. That movie was stupid. But Kelly Wooker, she was actually now the lead star. That's stupid. That was retarded and was stupid. The remake, Sean Penn took the role of John Halsey. Once again, John Ryder, but once again, Jim Halsey has been killed. But this time, instead of being decapitated, you know, just like was Nash in this film, he got decapitated. And I hated the remake. The remake sucked. You know, I'm tired of remaking this movie. Why are we remaking this movie? There was no need to do a sequel or remake. You know, it's original, it's the only film. And this movie really fucking deserves a Blu-ray. And I'm not talking about the book that's fucking expensive in Germany. You know, my biggest wish is that this movie will be released on Blu-ray from the UK. You know, or at least the US. Please make it a region free and upload it and at least remaster this film. You know, I wish that they actually go and remaster this film. Why they remastered Blade Runner? Why can't we got the Hitcher on Blu-ray? Because this movie really deserves to get on Blu-ray. You know. And honestly, in Germany, you know, it's way too expensive for me that I will actually buy the film. I'm not paying 85 euros for the film. I'm not paying that much money. You know, it's not worth it. To me, it's kind of a lot of money to give away, and I'm not paying for that book that much money. You know. And yeah, and I'm just perfectly fine with the DVD. But yeah, I enjoy this film. I remember seeing this film on a German TV. And here's the thing: back in high school, around December 2004, when I was actually taping this film, the Germany actually went and cut out the final climatic scene. You know, when Rutger Hauer has been transported with a van, and we see Jim Halsey and Estrich driving, you know, and we see once again Rutger Hauer's face, they completely cut the movie and they make it like was ended. I think because of the violence in it, or because they actually wanted in which John Ryder survives, and I really do wish that John Ryder will survive in this movie. I really do wish that John Ryder would have survived in this movie. Yeah, I wish that he would have survived, you know, because Rutger Hauer was fantastic, and John Ryder is, to me, the best serial killer. And yeah, the Germany they did in which Rutger Hauer has not been shown being killed. You know, I don't know why they cut it. I tried to find out if on the DVD or Blu-ray if they did that too, but I think they didn't. But that time they cut the final climatic scene, you know, in which the bus flips over and in the desert, and Rutger Hauer jumps, you know, from the bus, you know, and lands in the windshield, breaks the windshield in C. Thomas Howell car and says, "Hi kid," you know, and C. Thomas Howell stops and Johnny Ryder flies out of the car. You know, that scene has been completely that time deleted. I didn't know that this like missing the final minutes, you know. But I would really love to see in which John Ryder survives, because no one could play that well character as Rutger Hauer. So now, if you're wondering why it's not my number one favorite Rutger Hauer film, yeah, that's because I actually more prefer the characters he played that were actually good guys, you know. I prefer more, I actually love more Split Second, and I love more Blind Fury, which I'm gonna review soon. But I want to talk about the Hitcher, which I always enjoy. I love the road movies. I love the road thriller movies like Road Games with the actor who played, I think was Stacy Keach. He played Mike Hammer, private investigator, with Jamie Lee Curtis in it. I like Duel, Steven Spielberg film. I like I love Joyride with Paul Walker. The first one's the best one. Joyride with Paul Walker. It was the best film. So yeah, I love Joyride with Paul Walker. And yeah, I love John Wright with Paul Walker to death. I don't know the sequels. I'm not that fan of the sequels. I'm not that much fan of the sequels, but I do love the first one with Paul Walker. I think was Steve Zahn was in it. I'm not sure. And Lily Sobieski. I love Joyride to death. The first one. I love Duel with Steven Spielberg, and I like road games. I like road movies in which there's a killer, and this is the first time that's actually a highway killer. In which he's a hitcher and he hitches people and goes and kills people. He's a killer on the road, and I love that. I love this movie to death. Now, John Ryder is one of the characters that Rutger Hauer brilliantly played. His best performance, phenomenal performance, because this movie is a phenomenal horror action thriller in my opinion. And honestly, John Ryder is the best serial killer in my opinion in Hollywood, on movies. But yeah, John Ryder is the best one. Fuck Oliver Stone, fuck Natural Born Killers, fuck Woody Harrelson, fuck Juliette Lewis, fuck them both, because John Ryder is my character, he's my hero. He would go, and he actually would go and he will cut the legs, the arms, the head of Mickey Knox off. He will grab Mallory, knock her down, start her up to the truck, and then he will drive the truck, and decapitated her, just like he did to Nash. That's what John Ryder he will do. He will cut eyeballs from Oliver Stone's character Mickey out. He will cut his fingers. There was the latest scenes because they thought it was way too violent. Because this movie is a gory, is a horror slasher film. It's like a slasher film. It's rated R. And yeah, they go in there was like scenes in which there was two teens who had a sex, and I think that the Hitcher killed them, and there was the scene is in which the girl was decapitated, but they did not show that because they did show it in the remake with fake CGI. But in this movie, they actually they thought it's gonna be way too much gore and violence, so they did not do that. But what I miss, my Bloody Valentine 3D had, a girl that she was naked with tits. I really wish that this movie would have, but I think that wasn't that much allowed in the 80s, now in 2000 you can get away with it. That time you couldn't, because I heard that, but I really love this movie to death, and John Ryder is my favorite character. He's a phenomenal character. An amazing character, he has no driving license, no birth certificate, he has nothing, he's a badass, he kills, he's a badass, he's better than the Terminator in my opinion, because he's a human being like you and me. He's a badass, he's alone, he doesn't have a fucking bitch, do his laundry work for him. He's a badass. Yes, I said 3 times, he's a badass. He kills motherfuckers, burns the fucking gas station, kills the cops, blows to pieces helicopters. He's a badass. Jumps in the fucking window that Woody Harrelson would actually got panicked, and he would get scared. He's a badass. Rutger Hauer is the best of the best. And rest in peace, Rutger Hauer. 1944 till 2019, January 23rd, till July 19, 2009. Rest in peace, Rutger Hauer. I do miss the actor so much. I miss him. I love the guy so much. So yeah, now to the Hitcher. This is John Ryder, Rutger Hauer, and this is Jim Halsey, the hero, played by C. Thomas Howell. And this is the two men, that stand up alone in the chase from the cops, Yeah, I love the Hitcher to death, but even though I root for the hero, for Jim Halsey, I actually root more for John Ryder, because it was great, phenomenal, it was great bond, between a hero being framed for a murder and a serial killer, a killer in the highway, killing people. There's also the latest scene in which John Ryder kills a whole family, but that was also cut because of the necessary violence. I think they were kind of afraid of the violence, that much. But damn, I love the Hitcher to death. I mean, 1986, a classic, the 80s, the 80s had a great, phenomenal films, like these three films behind me, actually 4 films, Rambo, First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3, Roadhouse, Die Hard, those great 80s, and also the Hitcher has balls. This movie has balls, this movie has balls to kill the great character John Ryder, unlike Oliver Stone, who's a fake, and he couldn't even kill those two idiots. He rather make sure that the natural born killers get away, but John Ryder had to die. I think that movie sucked. This movie has balls, in my opinion. I know I'm probably gonna get tons of dislikes because I said natural born killers sucked, because it does suck. Because at least, but John Ryder is a badass. I mean, he kills Michael Myers, in my opinion. He's better than Michael Myers, better than him, better than this guy. He's better than this guy. John Ryder is better than Michael Myers, better than this guy, he's better than this guy. He's better than Freddy Krueger, better than, Hellraiser, what's another, Jason Voorhees, better than Jason Voorhees. Why? Because he's a human being, he has no powers, because it's not a fiction, it feels like realistic. It's all practical effects, explosions, guns, he uses a pickpocket knife, stabs, I don't think that natural born killers will even can hold a candle to the Hitcher. I don't think so, not in my book. In this movie, a badass, a pure badass, but yeah, I think you already know the plot, the story, because I'm 17 minutes about why all this movie to death, I'm doing this in honor of Rutger Hauer, and yeah, the story talks about Jim Halsey. Jim Halsey is a young man played by C. Thomas Howell. I'll show you once again. That's C. Thomas Howell. That's Jim Halsey. His mom was always telling him never pick up strangers, but Jim Halsey does that. He should have taken and listened to his mom's advice, but he didn't. He's a young man who is actually driving a car from Chicago to San Diego in the Californian roads during the storm, because he almost falls asleep and crashes his car. He pick up a stranger, a Hitcher that he doesn't know. Unaware, the Hitcher played by Rutger Hauer, John Ryder. He's a psychopath, he's a psychopath. And he doesn't care, He starts terrorizing Jim Halsey after he puts the brake. They actually start speeding, and Jim says, "Go out." The ride's over, and the guy grabs a knife. And says the other guy said, when I cut his arms, his legs, and his head. And he's like putting the knife, the really dangerous knife, in his balls. I mean, I thought he's gonna stab him in the balls. I was like, really, I would be scared. I would pee myself if someone would treat me like that, And during the road construction, you know, and I love the screenplay by Eric Red when Rutger Hauer says, "I want you to stop me." Repeat for me, "I want to die." You know, he goes, I can do that. You know, when driving and Jim Halsey has to repeat the words. You know, repeat for me, I want to die. And I love when Jim Halsey sees the door and he goes, "I don't want to die." He goes and throws it out of the car. I love that scene. And I love when John Ryder flies out of the car, you know, lands on the road, you know, and I love the beautiful scene. I mean, how they actually filmed so fantastic. Robert Hauer's best movie, his first movie, his best movie, it was filmed so fantastic, so beautiful, astonished fantastic, you know, and yeah, he says, yeah, you know, Jim is like all happy, "Yeah, fuck you, man." I was like, wow. And then Jim drives through the road and he sees a family unaware. He sees the Hitcher in it, you know, and he goes and tries towards them, almost crashes in the bus full of passengers, but he missed them, you know, he goes and missed them. And so yeah, he goes after to find the family, but it's too late. He finds them all blood, you know. I think the director and the writer, they actually had to change, you know, so that scene was been deleted, in which the Hitcher kills the family, you know, and we see that that Jim Halsey finds them and starts puking. Then he goes to the gas station, abandoned gas station. He goes to the gas station. But then we see with the Hitcher comes up with 1979 Chevrolet C20, you know, which was actually a Jeep, you know, was actually a car which he broke in the workshop, and he goes and hunts down with the car, hunts down Jim Halsey. Jim runs in the car. And he goes to the car, and John Ryder grabs a match, turns the match, throws the match, you know, on the gas, and we see a practical effect explosion. Whole gas station blows up. The car is on flame in the fire, and Jim Halsey speeds with a burning car. That is all fantastic, all practical effect. Practical explosion. That time they weren't any CGI, you know, it was all done practical, all done for real. All the driving, you know, Rutger Hauer did all his own, all his stunts he did all his stunts. Yeah, there was a stunt double for Jennifer Jason Leigh, for C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer. But all the driving stunts, you know, Rutger Hauer did his own stunts, you know. The man is a god. He did all the stunts, you know. He did all the stunts. A lot of stunt drivers and the cast, the crew, he actually really amazed, you know, how he did all the driving stunts himself. Rutger Hauer is a fantastic actor. He steals the movie. No wonder he's in the lead role, you know. Even though C. Thomas is the hero, he's the lead role. You know, he's a great protagonist. He's great as John Ryder. John Ryder is a badass character. I love the guy to death. I love the Rutger Hauer to death. Love the guy. I miss so much Rutger Hauer. It's so sad why Rutger Hauer had to pass away. No, he was already he was 75, but he could at least live 20 years. You know, just like Richard Donner did. And yeah, and I just love this movie to death. It's such a phenomenal film. A slasher. It has gore. It has blood. And yeah, and I love the when the gas station gets blown. That's my favorite scene. And Jim Halsey goes to the diner, and he finds this girl, you know, Nash, when she shows up from the bus. And in the diner, she lets him in. He calls the cops, you know, tells them about the killer. She makes him a hamburger and the French fries, and she talks to him, but he's like completely, he just doesn't remember anything, because he's lost. And when he grabs, he tries to eat French fries, but he sees a finger in it, and he almost puke. And when the cop shows up in front of the diner, he goes out, but he gets arrested, and he goes into jail. And they try to call the service, in which he said that he's delivering the car, because Jim Halsey, he was actually driving 1977 Cadillac Seville. He was driving, but they called the service, but couldn't reach anyone. They tried to call his brother, but no one picks up. So he goes in the jail. He lies down, falls asleep, and has flashbacks, when he pick up the stranger. And so when he wake up, his cell door is locked, and he shows up, he sees a dog. That's like very scary. He sees a dog looks at him. It's very scary. And that's actually so he goes, so he finds all the cops dead. He finds one cop with a gun, with Smith & Wesson, I think was model 66, and he grabbed the gun. And when the cop shows up, he runs away in the desert. And because now everyone has been dead because of him, he wants to kill himself, but he doesn't. So he goes once again to another diner. And the guy, the guy, the owner says, "What happened to you?" And says, "I want a coffee." He gets coffee. And that time, when Rutger Hauer shows up, and C. Thomas Howell gets pissed, grabs a gun, and his boss says, I'm gonna kill you, why are you doing this to me, And I love when Rutger Hauer says, the guy is empty. And C. Thomas Howell says, yeah. I love that Rutger Hauer is a badass, better than Liam Neeson. Rutger Hauer, he goes, yeah. And and he puts the finger and says, I have better. They go, pow, and Jim Halsey fires, but it's empty gun, he gives him the bullets, and Rutger and Jim asks, why are you doing this to me? And John Ryder says, you're a smart kid, figure it out. He puts him the bullets on his eyes, and he puts the bullets, and John Ryder goes, he puts the bullet, he goes in the John Ryder, I think that John Ryder, I forgot, but John Ryder hitches again, and he goes with a truck. He goes with a truck. He hitches again, and Jim tries to stop him, but he can't, because Rutger Hauer, John Ryder tells him, stop me, and Jim goes on the bus. And he puts he reloads the gun, and he sees Nash. He grabs Nash, and he tells her, this morning this guy tried to kill me. I'm not a killer. I'm not gonna kill anyone. This guy this morning tried to kill me and now frame me for the murders. And then the cop shows up, and says, do you believe me? And she says, of course I do. And Jim says, of course, no, you don't. I won't believe either. They go to sit there, and the cop shows up. And she asks, what are you going to do? And says, I'm going to surrender. He goes out, surrender. And the guy says, you killed two of my friends. The sheriff says, wants to kill him. And Nash sees that. She grabs the gun, fires, says, Jesus, you got to kill him. And the guy, did you know who this is? Did you know who this is? Yeah, I'm going to drive to Riley to the sheriff, So they go together, and they drive together. But they actually be now hunted down by those... those police cars, police vehicles. They actually hunt down. They try to shoot them, and C. Thomas Howell, Jim Halsey says, shoot. And she says, I can't shoot them. Shoot the tires. And she drops the gun. Love that. And Jim says, hold on. And he breaks and the cars flip over. I love that scene, I love that scene, the car chase, I love that scene. Oh, I forgot another, how the hell I forgot that scene. Another scene after Jim, after I think there's another scene which I forgot. Jim goes and hijacks two deputies. Two sheriffs, two deputies. One of them gets handcuffs. The other one, other one gets handcuffs. The other one doesn't get handcuffs. And they now both one gets handcuffed, the other one doesn't get handcuffed, and they're actually now both they actually are driving, he tries to turn himself over to Sheriff Estridge, but that time the Hitcher shows up with the car, Chevrolet C20, goes and shoots the guy in the face, it's a gory, he goes and shoots the cop in the face, the driver, and the other cop shoots too, and the car flips, lands in the desert, that time Jim runs, he tries to shoot himself, but that time then he goes to the next diner, when the guy asks him, when the owner of the diner asks him what happened to you and doesn't want to tell him anything. And that time, that time the helicopter goes and chases Nash and Jim, and the Hitcher shows up and shoots the helicopter. I don't know, I forgot, I think the helicopter lands and lands on the floor, or he just stopped, and that time, they now escape from the cops, they escape, and Nash goes and asks him, why didn't he kill us? And she also goes and asks him, why did you pick him up? And he says, because, I almost crashed and I was tired and I didn't want to fall asleep. That's why I picked him up, and he was a stranger that needed help. And I just love that, and they go to this motel, and Jim, he goes shower himself, love his body, loves Thomas Howell's body, and that time, John Ryder, he starts and shows up, and he kidnaps, he lies near Nash, kidnaps her, ties her up to the, from the truck to the trailer, and when Nash disappears, Jim shows up, and Nash and Jim, of course, the Captain Estridge finds him and tells him that the Hitcher, he tied the girl up, and Jim says, why can't you shoot him? Because if we do that, he's gonna kill the girl anyway if we do that, so John demanded only that he talks to her. Excuse me. So that he talks to Jim. So Jim goes, in the truck, and John says, "Grab the gun, puts on my head, and now stab me." Shoots, and Jim can't do that, and he goes, and kills the girl, And that scene was not shown. I wish it would be shown, but it wasn't decapitated. When Nash was decapitated, that scene was also not shown. Because they did not want, I think the MPA did not want the violence, that much violence, so they had to cut it down. But yeah, so John is now arrested, and during the interrogation, Jim goes and spits on him. So Jim now he goes with Estridge while John has been transported to the van. But Jim, he grabs the gun from Estridge and forces that he goes out, and he says, "Sir, I have to do this," And he handcuffs Estridge, goes back, In that time, I love the scene when when John Ryder grabs, a shotgun, a French is past 12 gauge, and he goes, and kills the drivers in the bus, in the back, in the front, when Jim grabs the gun, aims at him, John jumps in the window and breaks the window, lands in it, and says, "Hi, kid," and Jim is like screams, and pulls over while the bus goes on completely in the different desert, and yeah, and John and of course Jim stops the car, and like I said earlier, John flies out of the windshield. So now John stands up, he grabs the gun and starts shooting with a shotgun, French's past 12 gauge, goes and shoots on the car, while Jim tries to start over the car, and he goes like a Terminator and blows his car to pieces, but the police car to pieces, but Jim finally starts the car, goes and runs him over, and Rutger Hauer flies. I love that scene. And now finally the Hitcher has been dead. Jim goes, finds him that he's dead, grabs the shotgun, but John Ryder stands up, like a robot, like a Terminator stands up, and Rutger Hauer, C. Thomas Howell turns around and goes and shoots him to pieces. Then he goes to the car, and the movie ends, and John is dead. And yeah, that's the movie ends. And I love this movie to death, man. I love this movie. I love the Hitcher 1986 to death, Like I said, budget was $6 million. It has explosions, car chases, practical effects, great stunt driving. The budget was only $6 million. For $6 million, it still stands the time. It's a timeless classic, in my opinion. A stone cold, immortal classic, in my opinion. And I just love the Hitcher. I mean, man, I love the Hitcher. Love Jim Halsey, love John Ryder. The Hitcher. Terror starts the moment he stops. Never pick up a stranger. Like worldwide was only $5 million, which is too bad. Filming locations were actually in California, mostly in Victorville in the roads. All scenes were filmed in California. There is this man, Scott on Tape. He's a YouTuber who makes the filming locations for actors, stars, and for movies. And he also did, for the Hitcher, the filming locations. I don't know if he did all the filming locations, but yes, he did the filming locations for the Hitcher. So I'm gonna actually put the link in the video, which you're gonna see it. All filming locations or just filming locations by Scott on Tape, because I watched it 3 weeks ago. His video when he showed where they actually were filming locations for the Hitcher. The cast, Rutger Hauer, phenomenal, fantastic, recipes. He's the best. John Ryder's my favorite character as protagonist. I love the hero. C. Thomas Howell stated that this is one of his personal favorite movies. Mine too, C. Thomas Howell, but definitely his best one. C. Thomas Howell did a lot of movies, but the Hitcher will be actually his best one. Love Jim Halsey. Fuck the sequel, fuck the remake. There's only the original, and that's it. Jennifer Jason Leigh as Nash, she was awesome. She was great. I don't have her in this DVD, but she was great. Jennifer Jason Leigh accepted the role because she wanted to star with Rutger Hauer once again. She did in that movie Flesh plus Blood, which was Paul Verhoeven movie. She did that, she actually did that, and she actually did that. She was the star in that film. She actually was the star with Rutger Hauer in that film. She wanted to do another movie with Rutger Hauer, so she collaborated with him. She loved the character Nash because it was actually because she loved the character Nash. There was a real person there. Because it was a real person, she wanted to work once again with Rutger Hauer, so that's what she did. The movie has gore. It's rated R. It has gore. It's a horror. It has horror elements. Like it's scary when Rutger Hauer breaks with a car in the workshop and chases Jim Halsey. Jim Halsey runs to his car. He grabs the match. That's my favorite scene. He grabs the match and lights the match, throws on the gasoline, and whole gas station explodes, gets blown to pieces. I really do love that scene. Fantastic, great scene in my opinion. And see Thomas Howard drives a burning car. I love that scene. Like I said, it's gory. Or the Hitcher goes and shoots the cop in the face. He have a blood. I just love that scene. Or he goes and kidnaps Nash, ties her up, and he goes with the truck. She's tied to the truck. He decapitates her. I wish that we could see that. It has a great gore. It's rated R. It has great practical effects. All practical done. That time there weren't any CGI. No shaky cam. No CGI. That time it was done all for real. Jennifer Jason Leigh was perfect as Candace Nash. She did a great job. Rutger Hauer steals the movie. He's the best of the best. I love John Ryder to death. My favorite character he played. And also C. Thomas Howell is my favorite character, Jim Halsey. The music score was done by Mark Isham. Fantastic music score. Love the music score. The costume was by Jack McCready. Love the costumes. I love how Rutger Hauer was been dressed. I love his coat. I love that he sneezes. I love that he grabs the knife and holds C. Thomas Howell's balls. His dick. He holds the knife. I love that scene. I love C. Thomas. I love Rutger Hauer. He's better than Kiefer Sutherland. He's better than any actor. Rutger Hauer, in my opinion. But yeah, the music score by Mark Isham was fantastic. Love the music score. I love the trailer. The terror stops the moment that he stops for the Hitcher. I love the trailer. Going the east, he should listen to his mom advice. I just love that. Eric Red, fantastic. He wrote a great story, great screenplay. For the inspiration for the Hitcher was actually for the Hitcher was by Eric Red from the Doors song "Riders on the Storm" about a killer on the road in a storm. He wrote the Hitcher in 1983. He sent letters to Hollywood to producers, which he finally did. Was made. The film was made. While he was driving a taxi, and when he was keep moving, he had inspiration to do this film. He was keep writing the screenplay. He fantastic. Eric Red did a great job writing a story about a killer on a highway during the storm, which is a great story. It's a phenomenal. The cast is perfect. The direction by Rutger Hauer did a great job directing this film. The characters, the action, the music score, the filming locations is perfect. Never Pick a Stranger. Also, Sam Elliott and Terence Stamp were offered for the role of John Ryder. They were actually offered for the John Ryder. They also, I think that Sam Elliott from this movie, Roadhouse, this movie, Roadhouse. From Roadhouse, he actually, he was actually offered the role. But I think he's scared director. I think he's scared director or the writer, so much. But because of schedule conflict, he had to back out from the character, and the Rutger Hauer was cast to play this character, John Ryder. But there are a lot of actors, but I think many they actually turned down. But The Hitcher 1986 is a classic. It's a great movie. I love to review this movie. I love to talk about this film. I love the guns. I love when the Hitcher, he goes and kills the cops in the bus. He jumps, in Jim Halsey's car, love that scene. And Jim Halsey aims the gun, but John jumps, breaks the windshield. I love that scene. He says, "Hi, kid," and Jim screams and stops the car, and John flies out the window. Love that scene. The best one to me is when John Ryder blows the gas station to pieces. I love the game between cat and mouse. I love that scene. I love the plot, the story. It's fast-paced. It's a great horror film. I think that C. Thomas Howell said that's actually in action section, while the other thing that's horror section. But it's actually a gory horror film and horror action thriller filled with action, which I just love. That it's just a film that I just love to death. I love the cars, like Cadillac Seville driving by C. Thomas Howell, or 1979 Chevrolet by John Ryder. I just love that. Rutger Hauer did a lot of the stunt driving throughout the movie. It amazed the crew and the real stunt drivers. I saw a woman, start to a truck and snatched by Jennifer Jason Leigh in the pool and then torn in half. I love that scene. They actually could not show that, I think, because of the more violence, or I think it was probably because of MPA, but they actually had to tone down the violence. And Roger Ebert gave this movie a 0 star because of the violence, fuck Roger Ebert and his stupid stupid ratings. He actually said that The Broken Arrow, is a bad movie. He said that Predator 2 is a bad sequel because it's so violent. I mean, fuck Roger Ebert and his stuff, his atrocious stuff on movies that I love. No offense, rest in peace, Roger Ebert, but you were wrong. And this movie became a cult over the years, it got a cult status because it's a classic. It's definitely one of my personal favorite movies of Rutger Hauer, and But that's my movie review on the Hitcher 1986. I hope you like it. I hope that many agree with this movie, because I really love this movie to death. But it's my third favorite Rutger Hauer film, one of his best films, And I think that the best one of the film is actually Rutger Hauer. He's still the best one. That's my movie review on the Hitcher. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow or in Saturday when I review, when you see me for the next review. Anyway, I'm out. Peace and take care.